I'd like to welcome you to the live and web instructional webinar designed to support school annual yearbook program. Today, we will be focusing on functions that relate to building activity or candid pages. Specifically, we will be reviewing page bleeds and margins, the toolbar, design functions, templates, Go templates, custom templates, and themes. This webinar will be approximately 45 minutes, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's first off talk about bleeds and margins and what we mean by that. So we're going to go to a page. We're going to go here and I'm going to go down to one of my pages that I have set up. So this is so the green area right here that has this little blue border, that is your display area. And we'll go ahead and focus. So right here, this is your display area. Anything inside the green area is good to go. It's safe. It can be seen. It will be visible. Everything will be good to go right there. Everything in the red area is the what we call like the no man's land or the area in which things might be trimmed. And we'll talk about trim here in a second. But anything outside here, this is where you run a risk of stuff being cut or trimmed and losing some of the image and all that. So let's zoom in here real quick again. Then if you ever zoom in and you read this right here, it says caution, all bleed elements must extend one pica from the red trim line. So what this is everything in this gray area. So if you want an image, so you have an image kind of sitting like this, if you want it to the edge and you want that color all the way to the very edge, it needs to sit inside this gray area. If not, then when you put we'll put this right here. So when you put this navy blue box, say it represents your background or whatever, if you put it right there and we go to trim, there is a 1/8 inch give or take trim, plus or minus trim, and that trim could be anything. That 1/8 plus or minus could be anything from how the paper is loaded, how it's printed, the operator, the blade, the machine, um, many different factors, how it's trimmed that day. And if you don't trim it just right, what you'll do is you'll get this little. If you don't take it to this area here, this gray area here, sorry, what you'll get is this little line around the page right here. So you'll actually see like the paper behind it, the white paper behind it. And it may not just look good. It may look like the print is like shifted slightly on the page, or the image wasn't uh, brought all the way up to the edges here. So this is why it's very important to make sure your designs sit all the way into that gray area right here, because this is where your trim line is. So this is the 1/8. We'll bring that right there and right here. So this is that 1/8 plus or minus right here. All right. So now we're going to talk about some designer basics, and we're going to talk about the toolbar and the tab basics. Um, so let's go ahead. Oh, here, real quick. Sorry, got ahead of myself a little bit. So this is why we're concerned with images being in the green zone versus the red area right here. In the green, this whole image will be shown right here. But if you put it up here, here you run the risk of having the top of the person's head removed or chopped off here, or you have the chance of this being chopped. Here's another image where you have more of the head. Chances are might not show up in the book. So this is something to look for and to see if it's going to be trimmed All you have to do is come to File, View PDF. Because I moved stuff around, it's going to ask me to save it. And let's go to this. And so here we go, this black and white dotted line right here. You can see that that is going right where that gray area was right there. So this is area will be trimmed. So if you don't want that picture trimmed, or if you think it's the parents of that student might well say a few things because most of their kids' image is trimmed or removed. So you may want to move that down or move that to another location, or take another image that can be trimmed or that can withstand having something taken out of it. You can put that in its place. So, all right, so let's talk about the toolbar. So here, real quick, we have File right here. File. Let's see, let me. There we go. So right here we have File. Underneath File, we have the standard save. We also have the save icon right here. Those of you who remember the 3.5 floppy right here, um, the standard save icon on just about everything. Next, we have Save as a Template. We'll show you how to save things as a template and save things as a click and go. We'll explain what a click and go is. Here you have Save as a Practice Page. One that's probably important is the View as PDF. So anytime you're done with a page and you want to kind of see what it looks like, see how the placement is, see where everything is sitting, you can also do View as a PDF. And you can download that PDF and send it to any teachers or anyone who needs to look at the page or approve the page. Next, we have Edit. We have the Undo and Redo. We also have those arrows right here, Undo and Redo. We have your standard cut, copy, paste, or your Control X to cut, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Change background, and we will actually talk about backgrounds here a little later. Spelling, here you can actually click here and check spelling. Now the thing about the spelling, it's not the most robust. It will not detect the 3 different spellings of there or it versus it is. Or it's and it's. So that's something you're going to have to manually do yourself, is go in and check and make sure that you're using the correct spelling for words. But it will check standard words. It also will pop up any words that students' names that doesn't understand that is correct. So next is View. View, you can hide the ruler, so that will hide that ruler that was just right there, or you can show the ruler that's right here. This ruler is very helpful if you want to line images up. So if you look at your cursor, you can see that it's just a regular arrow. But if I put it over here, it turns into a 4-way arrow. So you can see that there it turns to a different arrow. If I just click and hold, I can drag a line down and I can always move it down onto the page where I need it and let go, and it just turns teal. Now the line will not print with the page. It's just for your benefit. I can also come over here to the left and pull one over right here. And so I can use that to help line things up. Here you can hide page margins. Here you can grid lines. You can actually clear clear all the guidelines. We got the zoom in, zoom out. Now here's one that's really important right here: facing pages and single pages. So let's go back to fit right here. So facing pages and single pages. Currently we have facing pages, which is both left and right page, or your even page, odd page. And if you have a staff that you have assigned the even page there on the left to one person and the odd page there on the right to another person, they both cannot work on facing pages. Whoever saves first takes ownership of the page. The other person would have to save their work as a template. So to avoid this, what we're going to do is we're going to say, instead of facing pages, we're going to say single page, and you have to do this to both of them. So whoever has the left page, the right page, you have to tell them to switch to single page view for both of them, and then there they can just work on their own page. So now they don't have to worry about the other person saving or anything like that. They can just work on their page, they can save their page, and they can come back to it later and continue working without having to worry about the other person. So next is arrange. So here we have lock and unlock. So if you have some images and you move them into place, like there and there, and so let's say you want to make sure those images don't move from where they are. So you can come up to arrange. Here you can see lock, unlock. You can lock all, or with them selected or the image selected, you can come over here to this padlock here on the right, and you can just toggle unlock or lock. So anytime a image won't move on a page, and you see this little red, that just means it's been locked. So all you have to do is click on it, come over here to this padlock, unlock the end image. Next, you have group and ungroup. We'll show more about this when we get to click and go, the grouping and ungrouping. So if you want to group some images because you want to move them somewhere else and you don't want to mess up the alignment or how you have them set up, you can select them. You can come over here to group, or you can come up here to arrange and group, either way. Dotted lines like this on the page means this image has been grouped. So now you can move all those together. To ungroup them, you can go to arrange and then click on ungroup, or just come over here next to the padlock and just click on ungroup. So either way. Then we have align horizontal, align vertical. So if you have this image and this image and you want them aligned evenly, all you have to do is come over here to align vertical and click on like middle, and you could do that, or center and center them like this, or you can come up here to this what looks like a stack of papers. There's a little down arrow, and here you have arrangements. You can um, center them, or you can bring them up and so they're all the same level. You can also say you want this photo, or you want this photo in the back of this photo. So you can go to arrange and then send to back or send forward. You can also do the same thing over here in range right here, bring to back, send forward. You can also flip the image too. So if you need to flip it here, transform, you can flip all that. Next, here's our spell check, print preview, virtual book. Yeah, if you do that, it'll just take you to your virtual book, and then here you can just view the book as it's going to, kind of look at it, and then when it gets printed. So you just kind of look at it as it goes right now. All right, so next we're going to talk about these ones over here. Oh, real quick, right here is your page. So you can actually click on this down arrow and scroll down to a page and click on it and go to that page. Or you can click on pages right here, and then you can actually scroll through and then click on whatever page you want to work on next. So this way it saves you from having to go all the way back to plan, page ladder, scroll, click on the page. You could just go to your next page using the pages right here. Next we have designs, and we're going to talk about designs here a little bit later. Well, here next actually, when we get to templates. skip this one. We're going to go over here to images. Images right here will have all the images in your activity file. So any images you have there, you can access those. Click and hold, drag them onto the page. Um, so if you have an image you want to use, you can drag it on the page and then put what wherever you need to. Art right here, and we're going to discuss some of the things you can do here. But first, we'll get to it. So uh, image frames. These are frames that will hold an image, just like you buy a frame at a store. That's kind of what this is. So you can set this up um, and all that. So that way, when you go back to your images right here, you can click and hold uh, and put those in. If you see it's red, that means that image won't go in. That means that image is smaller than the box that you have on the page, so you can lower that a little bit. And then if it's green, it's good to go. You can just drop that image inside. Here we have clip art. Our clip art library is free for you to use. You could use any one of these. It doesn't matter where it's at. Just because you didn't go with our cover doesn't mean you can't use anything from these covers. If you see something you like, if you see this, this S you want to use for the teacher, you can use that. So anything in this image library that you want to use, you're free to use those. Next, we have shapes, and I'll show you here a little bit what you can do with some of these shapes. But a lot of these you could just use them for like accent pieces, or just fill in, kind of fill in a gap or something like that, just to fill space. Or you could take an image and put an image right in front of it. So you could use it just to frame an image. All right, next is text. And let's go over to, so let's go over here to text. And with text, you can put anything like to add styles. All you have to do is click on add your style. You could take any of your fonts that you currently have. And if there's a particular font that you want, say we can click on styles. So let's say there's a font we want for student names. So we can go over here, students' names, or whatever we want to call it. We can actually come over here and pick a font, pick a pre-planned design. We can call it bold, and then we can save, right? Create, and then PageLiner will take you back to the page you were just working on. And then right here, we will have students' names right here. We can click and hold, drag that over to the page, and it will be on the page. If we ever need to expand the text, we can expand the text. If you ever see a red X right here, that means the text that you have put on the page is larger than the box that it's in. So all we have to do is expand this box. There we go. And then we can see the student name right there. Now with text, we could do many different things with this. We can change the font again right here just by simply clicking down and change the font. We can change which style it is. If we don't want to change the font, we know what font we want. We just want to change that style. We can change it back to the default style right there. We can also change the font size. What's really nice is we can change that font color. So we can change it to this color. Maybe we'll want to give it a little bit of a um, stroke line around it. So we can do that. We want to give a stroke line around this box. So let's find a nice little color right there. Or we want to fill in. So here's a shape fill. And then we can fill that name in right there. If we want the name center, We come over here to align, and then we can center the name right here, line spacing. Here is where we can, if we expand it right here, with line spacing, this is where we can just move the text up and down. Maybe just, there we go. Now, format and effects, here we can make it a transparency, so we can actually make it a little blurry right there. We can add a drop shadow. So if we want to add a drop shadow next to this box, or better yet, let's go with that and let's just get rid of all of that. Say we want to drop a drop shadow underneath the name. All right, so we can go back to format and effects, this little magic wand. We can select the distance. So if we want it far away, we want it a little bit up close. The degree, here, let's do this. The degree lets you know which way that you want to have the shadow. It's basically which way do you want the light coming from. The opacity lets you know just how you want a light shadow behind it, or do you want something a little bit darker? And then the blur just blurs it out. Really, honestly, I wouldn't touch the blur at all. Up here you have color, so we can select whatever color we want. So we want red, we can just do that right there. And then there's where we have, let's go ahead and zoom in on it. So there we can have the student name with a nice little backdrop on it. If you want to add if you don't want that, you just want a simple glow, you can add that, change the opacity. Basically just makes it a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. The blur, you can make it really blurry and not as blurry. So the choice is up to you how you want to maybe decorate or elaborate on a name or something like that. So next, let's talk about templates and where you can find them and how to use them. So templates can be found here on so templates can be found here under design. If you click this little down arrow, you will see custom, page server, click and go, advertisement, portraits, and there's a template exchange. Um, but here under page surfer, you can find all you have to do is click on the word page surfer or the arrow, and you can find subcategories under here. Here you can find candids. So we're going to click on candids, and here you can find just different styles, pre-made templates for you to drag and drop your candid images. That's your images like right here. Um, so like these images right here, you could go to designs, say you want this one right here. So click and hold, drag it over here, let go. You'll see this. Do you want to retain existing? We say yes. You go to the other side, bring that over, say yes. And so now you have templates right here for your candidate. So now we can go to images right here, and we can click and hold an image, bring it over, and just start putting images uh, right in there, and we're ready to go. You can redo some of these. You can change the coloring on some of these. So if you don't want this color, so you want a different color border around this child right here, just simply click on the image, come up here to this little toolbar right here. This first one is color. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that to this pink color. So there we got that. Maybe you want a different color around that one. Very easy. Come over here, pick this red. Uh, these are these right here are, if you go under art, your shape boxes. That's what these are. These are your shape boxes, and you can actually change the colors on those. So you can go to Stroke fill right here. That's that line that's around the shape. So we could say we want that and come back to color, shape fill, and we want this color right here. So you can actually change the colors of the backgrounds and of the templates. You can make them your own. You don't have to, just stay with the standard coloring. So you can play around with the different colors and all here. Here you got text boxes that you can redo. You could remove them. If you don't want to mess with those, you can just flat out remove them. Come up to clip art and we can find something. If you want to find a banner, let's see, we can go to border, something like that. And let's just drag this over here. And we can just, there you go, just drag a border right there. It's just something right there to fill in some space. Or you can find an image that you want to use and put an image in there. It's whatever you want to use. Now, let's say we have built a template. We have, let's remove these images here real quick. So let's say we built this image or this candid and we want to use them on multiple pages. So instead of trying to remember how we made everything and trying to basically reinvent this template over and over and over again on each page, all we have to do is come up here to design. Sorry, all we have to do is come up here to file. Here's where we had that save as a template. So we can click on that, and then we have three options. So after we name this, we can do one of three things here. So we can leave this as both pages, or we can just do the right page or the left page. It's always a good idea to do both pages. And if it's a candid page like this, maybe you want to do left and right just to make sure, just in case you get to a point where you are going to start something else on the other side. So instead of dropping both of them and trying to delete one and then put something else, you could do both and then come back and save one as a right, one as a left. So we're going to do both pages and we'll click on save. All right. And then to find these that we just saved, we're going to come back up to design. We're going to come back up to custom and we're going to click on my templates. So all the templates that you save will be right here. So here we have another template. So if we went back we went back a page, we can click and hold right here. Oh wait, I have stuff saved over. Here we go. When I click no, I don't want to save anything that was currently on that page, including images and clip art. So all that stuff will be removed. When you say yes, you want to retain what's on there. That means you want to retain your backgrounds, you want to retain your uh, clip art and stuff like that. So now we can go back and we can just drop that on there, just like that, on every page that we need this. So next, let's talk about click and go. So let's come over here. Let's go back to page surfer, not page surfer, click and go. Let's go back to click and go right here. And here you have different styles of click and goes. So here you have something right here. You could put like images of students maybe throughout the years or working on a project or something like that. You can click and drag and drop that off right here. So we're going to put this right here and maybe you can always drag that up a little bit. Now you'll notice that it is oh, sorry, it doesn't like where it's at. There we go. It just didn't like the corner where it was at when I was trying to drag it. So you can drag it up, make it as big or as small as you want. Now you'll notice that it is there's a dotted yellow line around it. And if you remember, a dotted yellow line means it is grouped. So this is grouped for a reason. So this is grouped so that you can move it over here if you don't want it over there. You can move it, back over here, or maybe you can move it back. It's just so that you don't lose the spacing between all the images and you don't lose the text. Otherwise, if we had it ungrouped and you went to go move it, you would see that you're going to lose the text right there. So to ungroup this, we're going to come up here to either arrange and ungroup, or when you select it, there's a toolbar that opens up right here. Then we can just go up and just click on ungroup. Once you click ungroup, you will see that everything is selected right here. To unselect it, just click on the side right here, and now you're free to drop in images right here and even change that text. Now, if you want to, you can actually make your own click and go. You could bring in a little text box here, well, a little image frame here, maybe another image frame right here. Maybe you want to bring in a text box. Put a text box right here. So you want to make something like that, and you want to save it so that you don't have to reinvent this all the time. You can just drag and drop them and make a whole page like this. Do that. If you click and hold on the side right here on your mouse, if you click and hold the left button on your mouse or right button on your mouse if you're left-handed, and you drag, you will see this is a drag and select. You'll see that little purple box following your cursor. And so you just unclick and it will select all these, or you can select one holding the shift key, select your text, and select your other image frame, and those are now selected. We're going to come up here to arrange and group. If you want to group them first, you don't have to. So we can go up to file and save as a click and go. We're going to give this click and go a name and then hit save. And that's now saved as a click and go. So we go back to design, back up to custom. Instead of my templates, we'll go to my click and go. And your click and go is right here. So we can click and hold, drag that over, and there it is right there. And so we can just keep putting those on the page all we want. And then once we're ready to edit, we can click on this, come up here to ungroup and begin editing. All right, so next we're going to talk about backgrounds and how to add backgrounds. Um, so first thing, what a lot of people will do is they'll come back here, they'll go to clip art, and so they'll go back to their cover, they'll click and hold, drag that design there, and they'll do this, or a lot of times they'll do something like this, and then they just leave it on there. The problem with that is if when you start adding stuff and then you want to move things, you actually select what you think is a background, but it's not really a background, it's just an image in the back. So to add a background or to make that your background, what we're going to do is we're going to go to one of two ways. We're going to click on edit and change background. If we get this little pop up right here, or we can right click and change background and we get the same pop up. We're going to click on left page. Here we can add a background color. So we can add an immediate color right there. If you just want to do a solid color. Or if you want to add an image, we can click on choose image. Here we will you have your all backgrounds, your standard backgrounds right here. So you could select any one of these and click on select. If you have a cover, say you have a specific theme. Um, let's go with this one. It's chalkboard. And you find a background that you like, you can click on it. If it has a yellow border, it can be a background. If it has a red border, like this one right here, it cannot be a background. Uh, it's just a plain clip art. So this one doesn't have a red background, so it can be used. So we can click on it, click on select, and select it as a background. Does it have to be perfectly on the background? Nope. It doesn't have to be a perfect image on there. If we don't like this image, we can go back and select this one, click on select, and now it's in the background. See, I cannot select that background. So no matter what I try to do, I cannot select that. It's in the back of the book there. You can also do certain things with that background. Um, let me get to let me get this one right here. So say you want it facing the other direction. Here's your flip and rotate. So you can rotate it. Of course, it's upside down, but you can flip which way you want it. If you want to crop it, say you want more of the top of it, you can do it that way. Or let's say you want more of the bottom of it, and you can do it like that. Snap edit, we'll get to snap edit here in a minute. Tint, you can actually, so if you say it's too bright or too much color, you can actually knock that tint back down a little bit. So it's not so much, it's just not, kind of overpowering the book a little bit. So you can knock that down a little bit more. And that way, when you add an image, you're kind of seeing more of the image than you are the actual book, well, the actual background. So you can kind of knock that down just a little bit, kind of concentrate more on the image than the actual background. All right, so let's get to formatting. So some of these images, if you get an image on here, you can do some editing with some of these images. If you click on Format and Effects, you can add like a little drop shadow to them if you want. So you can add a little drop shadow. You can also, more importantly, you can edit some of these photos. So let's see, where is, so here might be a good one. Nope, this might be a better one. So to kind of lighten this photo up just a little bit, you can click on this little, select the photo, click on this little iris that says Snap Edit, and it's going to bring this photo up. Depending on the photo, it may take a little bit to get it to load, so just wait. So we're going to go down here to brightness, contrast, saturation. So we can up maybe this brightness just a little bit, maybe correct, maybe we have to lower it down just a little bit, correct that, saturation, uh, maybe, there we go. Make it a little bit brighter. So maybe there's not a lot you can do, but you might be able to do a little bit to the photo right here. Now, when you click on save, what it's going to do is it's going to save that photo, that we just created, as a copy, or that photo as a copy. It's not going to ever overwrite the original photo. So as soon as we hit save, it's going to process that photo. Again, depending on the photo, it may take a. So it'll put the photo on there that we just edited. So here we have the original, and then we have the one that we just edited. So it will save a copy of, so you'll see two of them in your image library. Other things we can do, when we select this one, is we could turn this image to black and white. We can make it like an old-timey photo. We can add an overlay, and I will talk about overlay and colorize here in a bit with a certain clip art. You could use colorize and overlay. Next is mask. Here we can um, select the brush size, the tolerance level, and then we can, right here, we can make it transparent or black and white. With transparent, if we want to eliminate some of this top of this, we can actually make it a transparent photo. So we can do that. And then of course, here's your zoom in and zoom out. So you can zoom in and then kind of get like a little bit closer, a little bit finer detail if you want. Um, it's all up to you. But you kind of do something like that. Then once you're done, click on save. And so here you can see it will they will just save a mask over this, and it'll be transparent. And if you want to undo it, you can just undo it. So to undo, and if you ever want to just completely undo that mask, all you have to do is come back over here to uneraser, and then just unerase the mask right there. With black and white, what you can do is you can turn everything in the background black and white, and we'll kind of hastily do this, kind of give you a point. If you ever mess up, like you get a little bit of the arm, just go to uneraser, and there you go. You can take that out, and we'll touch up just a little bit there. There we go. And then you can just click on save, and then there you go. The background is black and white. You can focus more if you just want to focus on the child more or focus on what they're doing. You can kind of it's a little bit of a design thing, so it's up to you. And if you ever need to crop an image, if you double click on an image, it just isolates that image. And if you ever need to one of these yellow one of these yellow squares right here, all you have to do is click and hold and drag that image. Eventually, it will say it's reached its max size, but you can move that image so that maybe you don't want so much of that background right there. You can just move it right there. You will see this black square right here that just tells you what your frame size is. That's not going to change, just so you can know where in this image or where in this image frame that image is going to sit. Okay, I'm just quickly going over my notes, make sure I got everything. And then finally, we'll talk about history here real quick. The history tab will have everything that you saved today, yesterday, this week, last week in your older version. Your older version will always have everything that you've saved. Every time you hit the save button, your older version will be right here. So I can go all the way back to the very beginning of this page and bring it over. Or the very first thing I've saved on this page, I can bring that over. I can also bring over, something like that, or whatever's on the page before. The reason why this image stayed from here is because it crossed that center line. And once anything crosses the center line, it becomes a page dependency. So this page right here is dependent on this image. So all I have to do to make that a non-page dependency is get those photos over. It's just remove them, and now it's no longer a page dependency. All right, and at this time, we will open it up to any questions. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask, or you can go ahead and put them in the chat, and we can answer your questions. Okay, go ahead and read this then. I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. These demonstrations of the functions related to the creation of activity pages may help when it comes time to build your yearbook. Using the templates already in the program and building your own templates should save some time and give your book continuity. Please feel free to join us in March for the final steps in your yearbook building process. The one in March will talk about how to complete and how to finish and submit your pages. So definitely sign up for that one. I want to thank you again for joining us today. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can always feel free to email or call.